The heat was unbearable. The asphalt melted under the sun, and even in the countryside, where there was usually a cool breeze from the nearby woods, there was no escape from the scorching weather. 12-year-old Toby Clark sat on the porch of his grandfather's old house, lazily watching the dusty road where a beat-up car passed by every half hour. Summer in Virginia was long and slow, like an old VHS tape. Toby was here on vacation in a small town called White Falls. His mom had sent him to stay with his grandpa to get him away from phones and computers. In reality, that meant 2 months without internet, without friends, and with zero hope of a fun summer. Grandpa Edgar Clark was a quiet, gruff man who smelled like tobacco and motor oil. He rarely talked to his grandson, but always made him bacon and eggs, so, in his own way, he cared. By the second week, Toby was bored out of his mind. He had explored everywhere: the old barn, the abandoned mill, the overgrown pond. But one morning, as he walked along a hidden trail behind the house, he heard a raspy, wheezing sound, like something coughing. He froze. Then he stepped forward, pushed aside the bushes, and stopped dead in his tracks. There, standing in front of him, was a horse, or what was left of one, a bony body, patchy mane, a deep gash on its side, like it had been cut by wire. Its eyes were cloudy, one half shut, but it stood there, not running, not snorting, just breathing heavily, head lowered. Toby didn't know what to do. He slowly reached out, but the horse didn't react, so he turned and sprinted back to the house, yelling, "Grandpa, there's a horse in the bushes. It's sick or old, I don't know, but it's all alone." Grandpa just frowned. He got up from his chair, grabbed a canteen of water, and followed Toby back. When they reached the horse, Edgar let out a low whistle. "Well, I'll be damned. That's old Ben." "Who?" "A horse from the farm down the road. They were gonna put him down. Guess he ran off. Or they dumped him." Toby felt something twist inside him. They threw him away like trash? "He's old. Useless. Folks around here don't keep animals like that. Just costs money to feed 'em. We can't just leave him, right?" Edgar stared at the horse for a long time. Then, quietly, "Bring him to the shed, but if he croaks by morning, don't cry about it."
"Hey, no biting, old man. I brought you food, didn't I?" Ben just stared at him, calm, like he understood. Grandpa Edgar watched from a distance. He never said much, but he started drinking less. Sometimes he'd come out to the shed at night and just sit there in silence. One evening he said, "You know, I had a horse once, when I was a kid, white as milk." For the first time, Toby saw his grandpa smile, a real, genuine smile. By the end of July, Ben could walk across the field, not running, but steady. He'd never be the same. His limp stayed, his eye never healed. But he was alive, and he seemed surprised by it. One morning, Toby said, "I want to take him home. To the city. We live near a field. I could take care of him there." Grandpa shook his head. "Toby, a horse ain't a house cat. They won't let you. But if you want, I'll teach you to ride while you're here." So they did. First, just sitting, then walking, then trotting. Ben was patient, learning with Toby. They trusted each other. August came, and the heat broke. Rain rolled in. Toby knew he'd have to leave soon. He visited Ben morning and night, sometimes just sitting with a hand on his neck. "You're not dumb. You get it, right? I gotta go. But you hang in there, okay?" Ben looked at him with that same calm stare. But then something unexpected happened. Toby woke up at dawn, at first out of habit, then because he knew Red was already waiting for him. It was hard to believe, but the moment Toby stepped near the fence, the old chestnut horse would lift his head, even if he'd been dozing seconds before. He didn't whinny or stomp like other horses, just looked at him, steady, patient. And that look was enough to make Toby feel that warmth again, the kind you can't put into words. It was like friendship, but deeper, almost like family. Every morning Toby cleaned the pen. In winter, he chipped ice from the water bucket, filled it with warm water from a thermos he carried from the house. In summer, he mucked out manure and trampled grass. Red didn't gulp down hay like he used to. He knew it would be there. He trusted him. Eventually, Toby started taking Red beyond the pen. First, just short walks. Then, without asking Grandma, he tried saddling him. Not for fun, but because he felt it. Red was bored. He'd been a workhorse. Standing idle was torture. The first ride went smoothly. Toby sat carefully, like he was afraid Red might collapse. The horse walked slow, steady, like he was remembering. Then, weeks later, after a trip to the creek and back, Toby noticed something new, a glint in the old gelding's eyes. They rode farther after that, down back roads, through the woods, to the ravine where lilies bloomed in spring. Sometimes Red snorted and dug in his heels, especially uphill, but he never threw Toby. It was like he understood him. Then one day, everything changed. On their way home, Toby spotted a stranger near the store where Grandma worked. The man stood by a van labeled Equimax Transport, eyeing Red. He looked expensive. Leather gloves, polished shoes, sunglasses. Toby stiffened. The man stepped closer. "Not bad, for an old one." "He's mine," Toby said. The man smirked. "You sure, kid?" "I've got paperwork. He belonged to a farm outside town. I collect what's left." Toby's stomach dropped. He knew nothing about Red's past, but his fists clenched. "He's mine now. I saved him. I'm not giving him up." The man shrugged. "Law's not about feelings. I'll be back with the papers." Toby ran to Grandma, fighting tears. "He's taking Red." She untied her apron, wiped her hands, then gripped his shoulders. "Then we'll fight. First, breathe. Then we call someone who can help." That night, she did something rare. Opened her laptop. Equimax bought old horses from shut-down farms. Many went to slaughter. Toby's throat tightened. He sat with Red, stroking his neck, feeling sick. "But we don't have papers. He doesn't even have a chip." "We'll fix that," Grandma said. "Tomorrow we see Dr. Miller." Dr. Miller, a family friend, examined Red and whistled. "You've done good, kid. Horses his age usually can't walk. Yours, sharp as a tack." He scribbled a note. "I'll register him under your name, unofficially, but it'll scare off paper pushers." That slip of paper, unofficial, flimsy, felt like a deed to the world to Toby. He hugged it tight. But the fear didn't leave. Toby avoided rides, terrified the van would return. Until one day, he couldn't take it. He saddled Red and galloped far beyond town, needing to escape. They raced hills, then the riverbank. Red ran like he'd shed years off his back. Then the sky darkened, rain fell. On a turn, wet gravel shifted. Red slipped. They crashed. Toby rolled clear, but Red didn't get up. His leg bent wrong. His breaths came ragged. Toby screamed. No signal, no help, just rain and darkness. "Please, get up," he begged, cradling Red's head. The horse tried. He snorted, strained, but the leg was broken. Toby stayed all night, soaked, shivering, whispering lies. "You'll be okay." At dawn, a farmer found them. "What happened?" Toby's voice cracked. "Help him. He's my friend." The vet was Dr. Miller again. Toby waited outside the clinic, crying when no one looked. "He's got a chance," Miller said, "but recovery'll take months." Toby nodded. He didn't ask how much it cost. He only knew one thing. He wasn't leaving. 2 months had passed since Red saved Toby on that highway. The boy still shivered remembering those moments, how with every stride the horse carried him further from danger, from the chaos closing in. And with each day their bond only grew stronger. They weren't just a boy and a rescued horse anymore. They were a team, family, each other's only island of trust. Toby started staying at Jack's ranch more often. When his dad heard what happened, he showed up at the clinic red-eyed, hugging Toby tighter than ever, and for once he didn't smell like alcohol. But Toby didn't want to go home, and Jack, seeing how he looked at Red, understood. "You can't break this. Let him stay," Jack told Toby's father. "He's needed here." So Toby became more than a ranch hand. He became a student. Jack taught him how to care for horses, how to speak without words, how to read their movements. Toby soaked it all up. He woke at dawn, mucked stalls, fed the animals, and spent hours with Red. He learned to saddle him, ride him, feel his breathing. It wasn't just attachment. It was something deeper, like they understood each other's hearts. Then one morning, a woman in a sharp suit arrived. Carolyn Hart, from an animal welfare organization. Someone had reported Jack for keeping a retired, discarded horse without proper paperwork. "This horse was federally registered," Carolyn said. "He's still in the system. We have to take him." Toby stood frozen, fists clenched. "He's not just a horse," he burst out. "He's my friend. He saved my life." Carolyn paused, glancing between the boy and Red, who stood eerily calm, watching her. "Rules are rules," she said softly, "but exceptions exist. I'll file a request." Jack pulled Toby aside. "We won't lose him, but we need to prove Red's happy here, and that you're not just some kid who got attached. You gotta show them you deserve him." So Toby started training for a Western riding competition, not for a trophy, but to show what they'd built. Jack coached him gently. Daily drills, falls, mistakes, tears. But Red never failed him. He read Toby like an open book. The day of the show arrived, a small local event, but dozens gathered, including Carolyn. When Toby rode Red into the arena, his heart hammered. He remembered Red on day 1, skeletal, half dead. Now, a proud horse with a gleaming mane and clear, steady eyes. They nailed the routine. No whips, no mistakes, just trust. The crowd cheered, and Carolyn stood. "Request approved," she said. "The horse stays." Toby buried his face in Red's neck, crying, not from joy, but gratitude. 2 years later, Toby still works at Jack's ranch, now a paid assistant. He gives tours, helps kids scared of animals, and always tells their story. The story of how an old, forgotten horse became his light in the dark. And Red, he's older, slower, but his eyes still burn bright. He stands in his paddock, ears twitching at Toby's voice, and knows he's home for good.